What is going on YouTube? This is Acid Root. So I'm going to review the 9th album by American rapper and trap rapper Yo Gotti. Basically, this product is called I Still Am, and it came out in the fall of 2017. So basically, the particular come up about this project, the fare behind it is Yo Gotti had a pretty blitzing 2017 as far as what's going to happen. Particularly the hit single that came off of his Gotti Made It mixtape from the late spring, summer of 2017 was Rake It Up, which particularly back in 2017 and probably as of maybe just like only like the past 2, 3, 4 years, something like that, was that song still on that Gotti Made It album. But within pitches nowadays, that song Rake It Up, which is a huge smash, definitely one of Yo Gotti's most popular songs in terms of like the commercial aspects, is now exclusive to this album here. But within the pitch, Yo Gotti's been dropping albums since at least the 90s as far as this first going to happen. Like I said, this is his 9th album, so it's pitches like that, definite heavyweight within the rap and trap game, some of those type pitches within the format. Despite the fact that this kind of feels like Yo Gotti's kind of second win here within the aspects of just kind of having like some commercial spotlight within the pitch as far as like the Instagram livings and Snapchat and Twitter livings, some of those type pitches within the format when social media was kind of at a forefront back in like the mid-late 2010s. So it's just a pitch as far as saying, now Yo Gotti had done this before. He had done this with album. He did this with The Art of Hustle from 2016. He did it with Gotti Made It from the spring of 2017, despite the fact that it didn't have a second single or anything like that. I reviewed that recently or at the beginning of this year, 2025. That is a pretty banging type product, definitely worth the download, despite the fact that it doesn't have a single anymore. Some of Yo Gotti's early 2010s projects are pretty excellent as well, like Live from the Kitchen and I Am. Some of those type pitches are pretty excellent on there. I Am particularly has 4 singles, that's some good type of appeal. This is an early taste of like as trap was starting to morph into like the late 2010s trap of like IG Living and Snapchat Living, some of those type pitches. But it was just kind of the format. So Yo Gotti was always on top of those trends as far as what's first going to happen. He was putting out albums in the 2000s, like I said, in the 90s as well. But this particular pitch just feels Yo Gotti comfortable in just having the apex and just seeing trap at like its true zenith as far as this pitch going to happen. Now, I was not to say zenith in terms like it can't surpass it, but it's just a pitch that it definitely had some widespread type of appeal when usually all the trap singles around this time, 2017, 2018, 2019, some of those type pitches were just going multi-platinum in terms of single sales, and this pitch like that, just the widespread type popularity was just full bound within pitches like that. Yo Gotti is probably definitely crested amongst these trends as well as far as this pitch can happen. But it's just kind of the pitch as far as saying him being weathered from him remembering the times from back in like the early 2010s, the mixtape era, some of these type pitches. Just kind of the format. He was starting to belt out singles within the pitch, but he was pretty much like, I would say, like the new era version, like Busta Rhymes, where he would always get like a hit single off of each one of his products. He also had like a charting 2016 mixtape called Cocaine Music 9, which was a retail mixtape that did pretty terrifically as well. That was another one that kind of helped catapult him into the spotlight. And the second one to like the late 2010s was just the pitch as far as saying that, just the pitch as far as the aspect that for the most part, Yo Gotti would always get a hit off some of these albums that he had throughout the 2010s, but it's just kind of the pitch that in terms of like the follow-up type moments, it's the same thing. This album is excellent. It's pretty much on the cusp of getting a classic within the pitch, but it's just kind of the format as far as saying it has 2 minor natches about it. For one thing, I feel like possibly Rake It Up should have probably stayed exclusive to Gotti Made It just because the pitch. I think Yo Gotti is slick enough to have been able to have gotten another hit again within some of those type pitches. I definitely think he probably could have made. Like, I think the concept of it was just the bona fide success. I think within the concept that I'm not as full bound sure if Yo Gotti was going to drop I Still Am in the fall of 2017 before the success that Gotti Made It was just kind of the pitch as far as saying. It's kind of the pitch as far as saying that I think an album was just as of like the service of just the surprise success that he was having in 2016, 2017. So between like Cocaine Music 9 doing a huge, between like Cocaine Music 9 being like a huge splash, and then Gotti Made It being a pretty huge smash as well as some excellent type pitches that Yo Gotti just had a good bolsterment of like some good trends in this overall success that was kind of happening. But the pitch behind it, without Rake It Up, Gotti Made It doesn't really have any casual type appeal, and this particular album is kind of lacking in terms of casual type moments. I mean, Juice is a mostly good kind of second follow-up single, but it's kind of the same thing that happened with Law from Art of Hustle. Like Down in the DM was definitely a huge type hit off that album from Art of Hustle, but it didn't. The rest of the promotion off that product didn't do as well in the success, and that's kind of what happens with this album. So it's the pitch as far as saying it has the banner typeness, but it's just kind of, I feel like Yo Gotti kind of got shoehorned out this product just because the pitch of the format that it seems like within certain senses the main kind of anchor of this product is just Rake It Up, and that's kind of the appeal with it being on 2 albums, or at least it was back in those days, makes it seem as if it's kind of like a fish. It's kind of like a fishtail of a product as far as saying that it just doesn't have the appeal as far as having something that's kind of a staple. But It's not a bad album. It's just kind of more eccentric within the pitch of like its casual appeal. So it's just the pitch as far as saying with this album. There's really only 2 songs out of 13 on this particular album I don't recommend. So it's just the pitch as far as saying I'm going to give this album like a 9.5 out of 10. This Banner Yo Gotti within pitches like that. It's too bad. Like this album is not quieter, but it's just within the pitch. It just feels like a mild sense of just like kind of like leftover kind of despondence as far as those pitches can happen. Just kind of the tone of just the after effect of like as the Dat Piff era started to dwindle down as far as those pitches kind of happen. It's just kind of the pitch as far as paying attention to that particular fair just within the tone. But I look after, I mean, the aspect behind it as to what Dat Piff era, mixtape era, early 2010s, late 2000s kind of trap and mixtape eras kind of manifested into like the Snapchat and Instagram era kind of trap music that went along with like the bona fide success that went into like the pandemic years, pitches like that. It did have some pretty blitzing type appeals, but it's just kind of the pitch that it felt a lot more infinite back in 2017 and 2019, but just within the pitch as far as saying between like the pandemic happening and then like pitches of like the Drake and Kendrick beef, some of those type formats where trap is just kind of wounded young thug going to prison, gonna go into prison, some of those type formats, and just other things like that that kind of particularly happen. Some of these trap rappers kind of perishing, some of those type formats like Young Dolph and folks like that. It's just kind of pitch that trap was kind of wounded more or less throughout like the 2020s, late 2020s, just the pitch, but as far as saying some good blitzing type appeal. So the only 2 songs I don't recommend off this project, which we'll get to after the singles, is basically Backgate and then Around the World. I'll go ahead and talk about these moments here. So the lead single is Rake It Up. Like I said, this is a song that was on Gotti Made It, but nowadays you probably wouldn't be able to find that on there, but it's still worth picking up the Gotti Made It mixtape. That is a bona fide type success. You can find that in the Yo Gotti playlist reviews that I did within pitches like that. Definitely some extra type of appeal. It is a commercial album within a relative aspect. This doesn't have the casual appeal without a single. But Rake It Up is a nice one. This is a banner type hit. One of Yo Gotti's most commercial singles. Definitely an aspect of like a smash here. It's like a classic late 2010s strip club and late banger to kind of get within. It's like a classic kind of late 2010s strip club and late banger to kind of get within the aspects here. Just some retire music, I would definitely say within the aspect. Good song to schmooze and sip to as far as this fair is going to happen. So it's just the product of that consistent kind of pajama cat kind of neon life as far as those pitches can happen. So just to miss the product, places where you're going to hear folks like E40, Too Short, Outcast, some of those type of folks within the format of it, pitches like that, T.I. within certain senses in a more slinky type sense, Young Dro, some of those type of folks that just have an after effect of just more wild and kind of moments, Lil Jon within a more cool cat type vibe within pitch as far as those fairs going to happen. Real sleek and stylish, just kind of pajama pink after hours within some of those type pitches within the aspects as far as those tones can happen. Just basic on strip club kind of torque noise, just in the after effect of it, just routine kind of ambience within the pitch as far as those fairs. I mean, this is not the craziest type of song. This is not like a ferocious kind of dance song. It's just the pitch of like that relative kind of smoke and fog and energy of just being throughout the pitch behind just ordering some wings and pitches like that at some of these type of places where there would be strippers, some of those type of formats that just to miss like the product of this, like the typical type product of not just kind of the embellish of it within the pitch. It's a good embellished song to be able to get for some of those. So it's just the pitch, not so much focused on like the dance energy as much as it is just like the carnage, not so much focused on like the dance craziness as much as just like the ambience and just the overall noise and just the festivities of like the mist of it all as far as this pitch comes. So good type pitch. Real nice blitzing type of appeal. Juice is an excellent type one on here. Now this song did not make as much of a huge deal within the pitch behind, but it is an excellent type song on here within the format of it. It's a great follow-up single, I'd have to say. It's like a good follow-up punch with Rake It Up, I'd have to say. Just some night venue sludge kind of get here in ambience. Definitely, this is just a feel great type song with the aspect of it. So just a real glitzy type one. Works with the same sort of aspect just within the tone of like some white noise for like some good strip club and just overall night venue typeness within the aspect. So it just has that neon particular living about it. Just the aspect of this consistent kind of after hours sludge within the pitch as far as those formats would kind of go. Consistent kind of after hours sludge as far as those formats would kind of go just within the pitch of just enjoying like the energy notions and just pitches like that as far as those kickoffs would kind of happen. So just to miss like that, this is actually a pretty snappy song within the pitch behind. This has a little bit more rev type energy. It's a little bit more of like a shake your ass minor league type pitch within the format of it compared to Rake It Up. Rake It Up's just a little bit more of just like standard kind of routine chunk up the deuce is going to be this wild out type noise. I feel like Juice is a little bit more snappy within the pitch of just really appreciating like the glissiness as far as it's just a little bit more of a glissy song. Definitely appreciate the appeal. These are some bangers. This is the pitch. If it's interesting that even in like the late 2010s, the product of having like the Tibble type format of like a meme type song like Rake It Up compared to Juice just being like a straightforward kind of follow up punches the pitch, that even something that doesn't have like a even in the 2010s, something that doesn't have like a catchphrase ready type pitch within the format behind it just designates the fact that it wouldn't get more successes. It's kind of the pitch. Now, Yo Gotti, he does have hits with an aspect. He has consistent mixtape hits, some of those type formats, but it's just kind of the pitch as far as he wasn't always like a multi kind of single artist from the pitch. I definitely think he was inspired on the I Am album from 2013, but within the pitch, it just feels like certain times it just doesn't have that full bound kind of appeal. Which is unfortunate because it sounds pretty good. But in terms of like the casual aspects, I'd probably say maybe like the closest thing I realized with the aspect, he probably could have went with a song like Save It For Me. That would have been a good, nice, easy kind of safe single to have gone with. But in terms of keeping it with like the strip club energy that like the lead single Rake It Up kind of had, I feel like Juice is just the better pick. Oh yeah, it would have been a pretty nice one to have chosen as well, considering how red hot French Montana was in 2017. But yeah, so talk about these songs on here that I don't recommend. Backgate, this was just kind of like a gimmick song. I just didn't really appreciate the consistent phrasing of saying the word Backgate throughout the song. Just didn't really have a catchy type of appeal with like the gimmick format of it. It was had pretty good feels like a typical kind of harrowing Mike Will made it type beat. It's not produced by Mike Will. It's not produced by Mike Will made it, but it has similarities to the sort of styles that he was doing back in like the mid 2010s. Some of those type formats, just the pitch that probably could have had some relative type of appeal if it just would have had less gimmick about that particular song. Was just kind of a missed opportunity. And then Around the World was just kind of a poor type one. This is like a more homely type one and a more like choir type sense. Just the aspect of being a little bit more of like a refreshing and kind of just more optimistic type song within the pitch, which is interesting for Yo Gotti. It's just a different format for him as far as this pitch can happen. Now he has done homely songs and more personal around the house type songs within the format, but this particular one just had a little bit more kind of just out of character kind of optimism that just didn't hit the nail on the head within the aspect as far as like the tone of it as far as what's pitch can happen. It's just normally when you think of like a song by Tupac when he does some of those type ones, like you would think like a song like Run the Streets or Shawty Wanna Be a Thug, some of those type pitches, some of those type formats within the aspect as far as those tones can happen, but it's something that would have had a little bit more personal type vibes, but it just didn't have the pitch behind him. So yeah, this album gets a 9.5 out of 10 within the pitch. Is just only 2 songs out of 13 I don't recommend, so it's within the pitch as far as saying it's pretty excellent within the pitch. If I had appreciated Backgate just a tad more, if like it wouldn't have been as full bound kind of within the grading aspect of like the tone between the gimmick of that particular song, this album probably would have gotten a clean 10 as far as those pitches can happen. Would have said just simple enough, would have been a good aspect for that. But yeah, some of these type of songs on here, like, Oh Yeah is a nice one with French Montana. It's like a vintage kind of 2010s mixtape, riled up, I'd have to say, with an aspect of it here. Just a decent cousin to Rake It Up, I'd have to say, same sort of pitch and format. Just a good, excellent, just overall excellent 1-2 punch with that particular song. If you love the energy of Rake It Up, just like the blistering type of appeal and the casual aspects about it, Oh Yeah is just, I think Yo Gotti probably did not go with this song because he probably didn't want like a complete offshoot clone of that particular song, but this is like a good follow-up just to be able to say, if you need more energy of that particular song, Rake It Up, this is a good one for that. French Montana's pretty good strip club rapper as well within those pitches, so it's just basic kind of booty bounding type music within the aspects as far as those tones going to happen within the pitch, as far as those spares going to go. It's like a typical kind of Gotti bop within the pitches of it as far as those spares going to happen, so just good type tone. It really nails the particular appeal about it. This late shift kind of noise and energy as far as this pitch can happen. Save It For Me is a nice one though. Once again, I felt like this probably could have been a pretty easy kind of single choice. This has some good casual snap. Just a typical kind of Chris Brown hooks and pitches like that. It's like a snappy kind of venue breeze kind of get within the aspects here. Just like We Can Get It On off of his Live From The Kitchen. Very similar to Yo Gotti's We Can Get It On single from Live From The Kitchen as far as those formats going to happen. Just a taste of like Dusk, I'd have to say, and this particular song is like a taste of some Dust kind of polished chicks as far as those fairs can happen. So just the pitch of this, a little bit more serene type women within the pitch behind it. When I say polished chick, just the aspect of this a little bit more glossed up type bass and chicas as far as those formats would kind of happen with the aspect of it. So just a more kind of typical rougher type game to bag some chicks within the aspect as far as those fairs can happen. Just more, not so much within the territory of like hoe-like ratchet type women, but just within the pitch of just a little bit more gloss type fashion where some of these women might have Instagram followers with 5 or 6 digits, some of those type formats within the pitch behind the polished girls just within the pitch. So this is kind of the tone. Don't want to go back. It's a nice one. It's like a throwback kind of drummer boy beat on here. Definitely like the pitch behind it. This definitely reminds me of like late 2000s kind of murky night surf. I'd have to say with the pitch behind it. Just some good type tones. Good song to smoke to as far as what's first gonna happen. So just the pitch definitely feels like something Jeezy would have done. Just the same sort of pitch like that dredgy kind of Red Skies type cruise around with an aspect. This feels like something ripped out of late 2007, 2008. Feels like you should be hearing that drummer boy kind of siren go off when you think of a song like I'ma Do Me or Hustler's Ambition by Jeezy. Some of those type pitches. I'ma Do Me by Rocco or Hustler's Ambition by Jeezy. Some of those type formats within pitch behind. So good type tones. 2908 is a quality one on here as well. Definitely vicious. It's like an aghast and simple kind of residential motions. Kind of get within the aspects here. Just feels like apartment music. I'd have to say within the tone. Just some city noise. Definitely. Just kind of missed like the traffic of it. Just an overall ill type one. So it's just the pitch as far as saying this just feels like something. Just kind of where you're walking through hallways, pitches like that. Just kind of hop and bop, just within a neighbor routine type sense. Just visiting some pals or pitches like that. Just more apartment bound. Not so much. This is not so much front yard kind of music. Just the aspect of just more places where it would be big city. Just pitches like that where you have to walk down some halls to get to like a particular folks home as far as those pitches can happen. It's not so much project type music, but I think within a relative aspect it might be able to within the pitch. Just more typical kind of where you would hear sirens going off or just traffic horns, some of those type pitches within format. Just amidst like the city formats, gas stations nearby, just getting like some goodies, snack runs, some of those type pitches. Just you and a couple pals or just with the aspect just typical kind of traverse and gab or this aspect of simple kind of gab and commotion as far as those pitches can have with it. This particular kind of this aspect of particular kind of fraternized, just an aspect of more kind of residential within a more crowded type fashion, is something more in a complex type within a sense behind it. It's more big city bound pitches like that, just amidst like neighborhood fashions. I mean, obviously with the name of the song being like the address of the particular song, was just the pitch as far as saying this has some good type of feels. It's not as super common you would look within the aspect as far as music being designated to apartment like within the pitches behind it. So it's just good type pitch for most part when you think of some of those type ones being more penthouse or neighborhood type backyard type ROMs pitches like that. Just amidst the format, just like some dismiss like the format of like apartment type pitches within some of those type tones within it, whether it is projects or otherwise. Some of those type fares. Betrayal's a nice one. Betrayal's a nice one. It's like a snaring kind of late 2010s trap paranoia to kind of get here. Just some rattled kind of throwback to early 2010s, I'd say, with an aspect of it. Definitely some big slap to kind of get here. Definitely some vintage noise about Betrayal, just to kick off to like the standard type sound. Very just typical aspects of like this vicious quality of like late 2010s trap and just overall trap in general throughout the 2010s. Good type pitches, banner type appeal within some of those type tones with it. Brown Bag is a nice one. It's like a breezy and flashy kind of trap fair to kind of get within the aspects here. Just work a day, but it has some glitzy kind of traffic and extra thought as far as those fairs going to happen. So just to miss the pitch of just out in the day fair, some of those type of aspects of just getting like some stuff done, pitches like that, getting standard bills paid, some of those type pitches. But just kind of not so much quick, but just kind of brisk within the aspect that I had to say. Just kind of the format of just like some relative snappy kind of errands, just within a relative jostle type fashion. Not as full bound speed, but just within the pitch of just kind of in a motion where you're not you're not staying at too many red lights within the pitches behind it as far as what's first going to happen. So just kind of miss the motion and just like some slick weavings, just kind of the product of just having some good type times and just overall having some sleek fashions within the tone and just out and about within the fair. So it's just some good type fashions. Probably this song is one of the better days off this album as far as those fairs can have. So it's just the pitch as far as saying this good luck streak off this particular fair as far as those pitches can have, and just got some good swishers going, some pitches like that are just got some good swishers getting ready to get sparked up, some pitches like that, maybe a pizza that you're getting ready to get, some of those particular type forms, just to miss the pitch of how that particular fair kind of goes. Just kind of feel good, just in a breezy, flashy type sense. So it's a good type tone for that. I'll say Difference, a nice one on here as well. This reminds of like the Law single. I'd had to say it's like some night. The song Different reminds of like the Law single from The Art of Hustle from 2016. It's like a night venue kind of white noise kind of get here, just a glittered but preoccupied kind of tune within the pitch behind. It's an overall hot type one. Yeah, so it's just the aspect of this within the particular product. It's kind of a slower type version of a song like Juice, just within pitches like that. The same sort of format of like the ambience of just being out and about within venue type noise, and just the product of like social kind of commotion within some step out, but just kind of the pitch of this kind of less centered within the pitch of this kind of thing. Just kind of sounds some relative jostle about it, just kind of bringing like personal life type drama with the aspects of it as far as those fairs can happen. So just kind of preoccupied out and about as far as those fairs can happen. So just the pitch as far as those particular products can go, just good type fashion kind of step out, but still being a real just further good step out type modes kind of get within the aspects of it, but just more in a personal life type sense. It's just good further step out type modes kind of get within the aspects of it. Good type tone for some of those type pitches, further type ambience. And then I would say One on One is a nice one on here within the pitch that says YFN. It says YFN Lucci and Meek Mill on here as far as what's going to happen. Nicki Minaj is on Rake It Up as far as what's going to happen. 21 Savage is on Yellow Tape. I don't think I've talked about that one. I'm going to get to Yellow Tape as well. But One on One is like an oozing kind of vintage late 2010s trap motion is going to get here. Just like Travis Scott and Future, some of those type folks. Just some big thump as far as what's going to happen. So just the pitch as far as saying. This feels like a de facto kind of mid-late 2010s trap type song with the pitch. That's One on One I'm talking about. It's just the pitch as far as what's going to happen. Just oozing kind of picks up in sound systems real well. Just the pitch like the looming type typical product of it. Just without like the gas type hook that you would expect from Travis Scott or Future. So it's just good type products with just some good tunes within those aspects. Real good blitzing type appeal. And then Yellow Tape is a nice one. This kind of feels more like a mixtape type format of a song. Like the appeal behind this one. This one's just a little bit more of a street cut, rugged type fare within the pitch. Definitely like the appeal. It's like a slinky kind of neighborhood get around as far as what's going to happen. This late shift kind of usual dredge, I'd have to say here, just kind of a flip mode initials as far as what's going to happen. So what I mean by flip mode is just the product that just got done with work shift. It probably being, maybe not just got done with, within the aspect, probably 5:45, 6:15, some of those type products as the sun's starting to set, some of those type fares that just like, alright, out of like the mode of like the responsibilities, pitches like that kind of out of like the mode of responsibilities, pitches like that, just getting towards the conduct of just getting some tear up kind of going on within the pitch behind as far as those fares were going to happen. It's kind of a brisky kind of cruise around as far as those fares were going to happen, figuring out, just getting the excitement going, feeling the chills kind of happen, the goosebumps happening as far as those pitches can happen, just getting amidst the product of like, yep, things are going to get good within the next probably the next quick couple hours as far as those pitch can happen. So just amidst the product of just some of those type formats, it's just kind of a sparky and exhilarating type song within the pitch as far as those fares can have. So good type tones. So yeah, I think I talked about every song on this album as far as those fares can have, and just looking within the pitch here as far as those products will kind of have within the pitch behind it. This album gets a 9.5 out of 10 within the format as far as those fares going to go. The social score I'll probably give like a 9.75 out of 10. I would give it a higher score within the pitch. I realized that the factoid behind it, the complaints I said within the pitch about it not having much kind of casual blitzing within the appeal. Rake It Up is a dynamite type song. It's the main anchor of this product. Juice is a real excellent follow-up type single. Very underappreciated. Good 1-2 punch. There's some other ones on here like Oh Yeah. There's a song for the ladies with like Say It For Me. There's a nice one for like the polished bass and bells as far as this pitch can happen with Save It For Me as far as this pitch can go. Yellow Tape's like a good mixtape type tune to get you excited just after work shift. Brown Bag's like some good breezy kind of cruise run like the traffic. Some of these type ones on here. Law's like some good white noise for like strip clubs and just ambience, and it's the same thing with some other songs on here well, at least, Oh Yeah, some of those type ones within the pitch. So it's just the format as far as saying some of those particular type ones, Oh Yeah, with French Montana. So it's just the pitch as far as saying, I look after it here, good, blissful kind of amounts of quality on here. It's just the pitch that just does not have the casual smashes. It kind of veers into hardcore type territory, which is within the pitch as far as saying that Yo Gotti does typically have like the casual type of appeal, which is strange that it just didn't have. I mean, it has the casual aspects about it on here, but it's just kind of more within a seeking type territory, more so than the full bound, and just kind of saying that there's multiple gems like he was back in the early 2010s. So then just when you think of like Yo Gotti from like the 2010s era, where he would have typical kind of rake it up, or Yo Gotti would have like typical kind of rake ends within some of those type mixtape cuts and gems, it's the pitch that this album does have that in particular as far as those first going to happen. It's just within the pitch as far as saying they're just not going to be like the dynamite kind of disc. It's just kind of been more subjective type territory and matter of opinion in terms of what's going to be resonating as far as this pitch happens. So it's just the format, but it just felt like he didn't have those particular problems that I'm listing within the format of it being more subjective back in the 2010s and the early 2010s, like the mid 2010s, as far as this first happen. It's just the pitch. Maybe that's an opinion as well, but I don't think it's full. But I think he probably had a little bit more kind of Apple type sense where he just had more kind of this volition of. He just felt like more choice within the aspect as far as those tones kind of happened back in the early 2010s. Not to say he fell off, it's just the pitch as far as saying it just feels like for some reason he didn't get as much attention with this album as he probably needed to. But he was in the commercial spotlight. Rake It Up was a huge hit. It's just kind of the pitch that it just was singular. It's just there weren't tons of these, so it's just kind of the pitch. But yeah, look after here, so 9.75 social. In terms of the future, like Yo Gotti has kind of haphazardly kind of retired. He put out like a DJ drama mixtape not too long ago, like in 2023, pitches like that. He's dropped a couple group albums with his label, which I forget what it's called, but pitches like that. It has some good type fares within some of those type aspects. He's probably working on some good stuff. Will be some excellent aspects to get some further type ones within these pitches, just within the format of it. But he does have pretty much like an ass load of particular mixtapes, pitches like that. So there's plenty more projects to get to. I'm gonna start getting to some more of these type ones. I pretty much caught up with all the Yo Gotti albums between like 2006 and 2018, 2019. So I think the next one he dropped in terms of album type format was in 2020. As far as what's first gonna happen, he took a couple years off within those pitches, but it's just kind of the format as far as saying definite Blitz and Dynamite type one, kind of a quieter, more melded type one within the pitch, but still has the Dynamite on here. It's just kind of more just kind of subjective within the format of just what people are going to think, just because it just is not, this is not as vocal.